I've loved airplanes since I was a child. It's something about the idea of soaring as high as an eagle that I found invigorating. So imagine my excitement when my mother told me that my family will be leaving Cameroon to start our new lives in the United States of America, the land of opportunity, home of the brave. I will soon come to learn that freedom comes at a price, as my American dream quickly turned into a nightmare. This is my story. It all started once upon a time in America. Hello everybody, my name is KARL TALLA. Welcome to Nomad Network TV. This is the first time that we are doing something like this, so I won't waste any more time. I would like to introduce our guest. Today we have a special guest. Without her, none of this would be possible. Literally, like I wouldn't be alive, if it wasn't for her. It's my mother, and we'll be discussing the book that I wrote, entitled "Once Upon a Time in America: The True Tale of an Immigrant." America tried to emasculate the greats. Murdered Martin, got Michael to break. Hung Saddam, killed Gaddafi, mistakes. Which is published through Nomad. A little bit about Nomad. We literally, well, I don't want to say we literally do everything, but we do a lot of things, mainly production. And the name Nomad actually means never settle, right? Like never settle for less than anything. Because sometimes people ask me what that means. And
nomad can mean a lot of things.
It does mean
Nomad people are people that travel from places to places. They don't settle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is to never settle, right? Like just keep thriving for more. Kind of speaking to ambition in that sense. So while we're here, we won't waste any more time. I will ask you questions about the book. You can rebuttal. So I guess we'll start now. What were your impressions of the book upon reading it?
Upon reading the book,
Yeah.
Hi everybody, my name is Bert. I'm Bert Quinkamp Talademge. I'm Scar's mom. After I read the book, I was kind of taken back. I was shocked. While I was reading the book, I was laughing. I wanted to cry sometimes, because I was like, did I really miss something when we moved to America? Did I miss something on his education? What did I do wrong? Yeah. Then I was like, okay, when you give birth to a child, the child doesn't come with a book to guide you. So you can only do your best. And we did our best.
Right.
And everything you say in the book is how you perceive it.
Right.
So, and I was glad you were able to elaborate and put everything in the book.
Okay.
For people to see, because that is really, really, really being vulnerable. And a lot of people are not vulnerable. You writing what you went through was a good experience for me. And I will advise parents, especially parents of immigrants who live in America or abroad, to really read the book.
Okay.
And maybe they can get some lesson from it.
Okay. Thank you. So I take that to mean that you liked it?
Yeah, of course, it's a good book.
Okay.
It's very inspirational. It's a good book. Yeah.
So you're not just saying that because, your son and you're being supportive?
You know me.
Okay.
I say it the way I think.
So, further than that, right? What did you think? Did you think the book was accurate? Like, did you think you were accurately portrayed? And not just you, like the other characters in the book as well. Like, what did you think of the portrayal? Like, the portrayal of many people.
Again, that's how you perceive it.
Right.
And for some people, perception is a reality for them. The same thing that you wrote, and somebody will read it and interpret it in a different way.
Right.
but I don't want to judge characters. Everything, yeah, based on what you said,
Right.
but everything you wrote, everything that you say from your perception is true. That's really everything you said from your perception. Everything went the way you said it,
Yeah.
the way you wrote it. Everything was just.
Right.
But if you have to go into why it happened, and that's another discussion to have.
Of course.
But the book itself, from what you said and from what you wrote in the book, everything was correct.
Okay. So the events were, I mean, maybe not the reason. So maybe I got the reason wrong, or maybe the reason was speaking from my point of view.
The reason was speaking from your point of view.
Right.
Us moving from Africa to America was as your parent.
Right.
That was our decision.
Okay.
You know, and I know when we moved from Boston to Virginia, you were hurt a lot, but we were doing something that was good for. We thought it was good for our family.
Okay.
Huh?
Yeah, sure. I want to know today. Do you feel that way? Like, do you feel that way today?
If I have to do it again,
Yeah.
I won't move when you were in 10th grade in high school, for example.
11th, like started.
You started in 11th grade in Virginia.
Right.
So I won't do that because I know you didn't have to work for your graduation, for example.
Right.
You have friends that you went to high school with. You did not go with them. And that's something that hurts me still now, you know.
Did it hurt you at the time?
At the time, I didn't know. I didn't care about graduation. You were the first person to graduate.
Okay.
As a child. I didn't know. For me, it's like, okay, me myself, when I was little, I had to move. By the time I was 9, we moved, 9 times? Stability was something that I was longing for, but I was longing for stability in the wrong way.
Okay.
You know? For me, it's like, if I'm stable, my kids will be stable. You know? But they always say, you know, the first pancakes that you make is usually.
Oh, the first pancake. They call it the first. Okay.
No, I'm just saying. That's how it is.
But to touch on that, to elaborate on that, I also want to make it clear. Like, I don't want to make it seem like, cause okay, at different points, maybe. I mean, it was like from my point of view, and I think I also wrote it from a hurt place, right? But I don't want to make it seem, I do feel you are a great mother, and you were a great mother growing up. So to touch on the stability thing, like I didn't notice that. You know what I mean? Like I thought you only know what you know, right?
Yeah, of course, that's what I'm saying. You only know what you know, and
right.
Coming from Cameroon, we don't really have conversation. Communication with kids is not our priority.
Right.
They do what they are told to do. Like, do this. They don't explain to you why you're gonna do it.
Right.
But now, if I had to do, and if everyone with the kids wants to move, I think it's a conversation, because you're moving with the kids. I think it's a conversation to have with your children and say, okay, we're planning to move. What do you think? And take what they think in consideration.
But also on that point, the Virginia, I don't, because I think there were other factors that played into that. I don't think that wasn't the norm, right? Because other things, my opinion counted more, right? So I just want to say that I think you did a better job than, it wasn't like I didn't feel it was like a dictatorship, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was growing up.
Yeah,
just aside from the Virginia thing.
When I read your book, everything you say in the book, when you put something in the book, it means that.
Yeah, the Virginia thing by itself.
Yeah.
By itself. Like, I think it was a isolated incident, kind of. Because, like, I didn't have let's go over all the moves, like, from Cameroon to the U.S. That was exciting, right?
Yeah. because we didn't know the culture shock that we were gonna get there. I didn't know the culture shock that I was gonna have when I got
Right,
there.
but also at the time, it felt better. Like it felt like okay, we're struggling for better,
Yes.
right? And I don't regret that move because if you go like that was like I don't want because that early it was like growing pains. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't. It was inevitable, but I did like the fact that we moved from Cameroon at that time, at least. Maybe even now, like, as it made me who I am. There's no regrets in that sense. Once we got to Massachusetts, those moves were all within Malden. You know what I mean? So when we say move, quote unquote, like we were still around the same people. Like it wasn't anything too crazy. The move that I felt was awkward and unnecessary was, which I refer to as an isolated incident, was the one from
Massachusetts to Virginia.
Right, and again, I said isolated incident because I feel like my father had a large hand in that, as he did in the previous ones. Well, especially the one from, but I didn't feel that one was necessary, and of course, I was older. I had my opinion of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, and at 16, like you have a some. I mean, yeah. I think I was already who I was going to be. I don't think my personality changed all that much since then. So
Yeah, it affected you more because you were at a point that you had friendships. You have friends, Carl, Benjamin, for example.
right,
They were more into your life,
right,
and we have to take that away from you. You are not someone who makes friends easily compared to your siblings.
right.
So for us, I did not know at the time. Like I said, I did not know. So when we moved, I know how it affected you.
Right.
And we moved to a place that it was not easy to find African communities. It was not easy to make friends,
Well, I don't even like African communities already.
No, I'm just saying, like people that you can relate to.
Yeah,
We
sure.
moved where there were not people that you can relate to. Let me put that way.
Okay. Yeah, and also, I wasn't interested in making friends after that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. When we moved to Virginia, you were alone. You didn't want anything. You didn't want friends. You didn't want anything.
Right.
And it affected you.
Yeah.
Compared to your sisters, Cynthia, for example, when she moved, she was in a new school. She started a new school, so everybody was new there.
Right.
That was not your case.
You mean that did she move? She was going to
she was in middle school.
Yeah, she was in middle school, but
And
she was gonna change
new.
anyways. Right. Okay. So everyone was new.
Right. Everyone was new in that school.
Right. Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah. Maybe that was.
But you had to go to Brentsville. Brentsville was a school that was already established.
Right.
Yeah,
man. Well, I mean, just on that, like, it was a thing that in the book I touched on it. I don't know. I don't feel like the book was written as like a complaint, right? For me, it was more so giving reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, kind of like in my mind, in writing it, I thought, I thought that by writing a book, it would put things in perspective. Not only, especially for me, also, like, cause it did help me. Like, cause I don't. You would just say I'm not a complainer, right? Like I don't talk a lot. Well, I mean, I do talk a lot to you, but I don't talk about like things that bother me a lot. But the book was a good.
Which is something that I don't like.
Yeah, I mean, but the book gave me a chance to do that and like reflect on those things, right? And put it somewhere, like so. Because before that, I think I used to think about that stuff all the time, and like you have those ideas, like what if it, but putting it in a book for me was a cool way to get it out of my head.
Yeah, which is one of the reasons that I'm glad that you were able to write.
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in America.
Because I'm nice and I'm a genius, right? Right.
I will give you that.
No, but yeah, so like it was a cool way for me to leave all those feelings there, and it wasn't, it's not something that I live with today. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't feel a way about. I don't have those ill.
Yeah, because you understand more stuff.
Right.
And I also had the chance to explain to you why some stuff was happening.
Yeah.
And
so this is like an interesting thing that happened after having written the book. I say that to say like this, after that, some people that we know personally may have read the book and then you bump into them. But the thing is, like I wrote it and I forgot. I didn't go back to it because like COVID happened and so it was like and from 2018 to 2019, right? Really 2019, let's say to now. Um, COVID happened, so if I finished writing the book or the first manuscript before it was edited in 2019, I wasn't thinking about that afterwards, right? So when we would meet people and they would like make reference to it, like it was always funny, like because they thought like I had like actual feelings, like or that I was, like for example, something that people speak about a lot is like me and dad, like and it's like I don't carry those feelings, you know what I'm saying? Like I don't walk around with it. I don't feel awake, you know what I'm saying? Like unless he does something like immediately but then I don't like go to bed with it. It's like I'm gonna wake up in the morning and do like
because there's no reason to go to bed with it.
Right.
Your dad loves you, and you know that. It's just that we have different way of showing love.
Right.
We don't walk around and say to the child, "I love you, I love
Right.
you." For us parents, African parents, if you have a clothes, you shelters,
Right.
you eat. That's how we show love. We don't walk around like say, "Oh, I love you, I love you." Our love is like, did you eat?
Right.
Do you have a clothes to wear? Do you have a place to stay?
Yeah.
That's how we do.
Yeah, but I just wanted to.
So it's just generational thing. It's cultural thing. It's generational thing. Just because someone doesn't say that doesn't mean that the person doesn't love you.
Right.
And your dad is not someone who is expressive. Just like you know that expressive. You keep stuff. Yeah, not all the time.
I guess. But, just to say, like, I don't have any, like, because sincerely, which is also true, I don't walk around thinking about anything in this book. So sometimes when people ask me about stuff, it surprises me and I have to think, oh, yeah, I said that.
That's why I say it took a lot of courage for you to be so vulnerable and put it down. Like putting your life out there and say, okay, this is what. But that life, you're not into it. It's
right,
something
it's
that.
It happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
I'm very much detached.
You learn and you move through.
Right.
That's how it is.
Because there's more. But the thing is, I do feel more at peace. I mean, I felt more at peace afterward. Maybe that's why it took a while for me to go back. When I was doing the audiobook, though, it was like it took a while. I mean, because I started it during the confinement and then I finished it last November. But it took time. Like I started at the Nightmare, like the 6th chapter.
Mm-hmm.
So it took time to go through it, and when you read it, you remember it's like you feel away. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I had to like pause and get back to it. But on a regular day like today, I don't think about what's in it. You know what I'm saying? Like it's.
There's one thing that I found really interesting in the chapter in I think where you were in Paris, the conversation that you had with Tonton Andre.
Right.
I think he helped build you up a lot.
Yeah, he did.
Because he told you and he was like, maybe if that was coming out of your dad's mouth, you would be like, yeah, oh, no, he's just saying that. But I think coming out of somebody else, who is a man and who's telling you, I left my parents, they didn't even know where I was. I have to travel the ocean. I have to travel the desert, without any clothes to start. I was younger than you. Right. I think that conversation helps you also.
Yeah, the reason why, because like there's moments like that in the book, right? Mm-hmm. And the reason why, like I thought it was important to, because at its core, what I wanted to say earlier was that at its core, the book is about immigration, right?
Yeah.
Like that's really, it's just that the things, like my story is like the thing that, it's based on my story, right? It's like immigration from my perspective. But through him, especially, because like he's somebody that I respect and admire a lot. So through him, especially, it's his experience, right? And his experience with immigration was more extreme. You know, like leaving Cameroon at 20, traveling the desert for years, like you know what I mean, like, and then like it's even I don't know if I mentioned it, like I remember, but there's different parts, like where he loses friends that he started the trip with, where people betray each other on the way, where people die. Like I mean, it's really like speaking to him, it's like an extreme thing. When you meet him, you don't have that impression, right? Like you don't have the impression that he's somebody like he's a calm, collected, but like he's had extreme experiences. You know what I mean? So when speaking to him, it put things in perspective for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, oh, okay, like I don't take anything like you can't take anything personal. No. You see what I'm saying? Like, and also that it was liberating in the sense that okay, for a lot of the book, which was partially done on purpose, but for a lot of the book, it's like a person who has all these feelings, and maybe that was the case. I don't know, but by the time we get to the end, right? Like a lot of the last chapters about closure. You know what I'm saying? Like whether it's closure, like with some of the stuff, like some of the stuff that grandma said to me, also, like just hey man, like leave the past in the past and live your life. Really, like that's what the theme is. Like just you can't bring it with you. You see what I'm saying? Like everywhere you go, you don't have to like this person did this to me in like 1972. I'll never. It's like I don't care that much. You know what I'm saying? I don't carry.
I'm glad.
Yeah, like I'm
glad that happened because it's how you move on in life.
Right.
That's how it really matters.
Right.
Because stuff when you are in survival mode, especially when we moved to America, I would say most of the time we were in survival mode. We didn't have a place to stay. We had a place to stay, but we have to look for that place to stay. Right. We had to.
Before that, it was like we were begging.
We were begging somebody to live with the person. Yeah. So it makes you a stronger person, and it makes you appreciate whatever you have. You were sleeping on a mattress on the floor, but you remember some people don't even have a mattress on the floor.
Yeah, like to piggyback off of what you're saying, when we were in Cameroon, it started on the floor, like
where you were born, yeah.
So it's like you don't. I mean, you put things in perspective, right? Like a lot of that stuff doesn't really matter in the end. You think it matters because I think like people just in general think stuff that happens doesn't matter, but I think the more importance you give to stuff, the more you stay stuck at that point. You know what I'm saying? It's just like life happens. It's how you take it. Like if you let any event define you, you get stuck in that event. Like something traumatic could happen to you. You know what I'm saying? But like let's say like a car accident happens. If you're able to walk away and say, "Hey man, it's just a car. Like to make more cars, I'll get another one." It does. I mean, it happened, but then you moved on. You know what I'm saying? Like.
There's also a question I really want to ask you in the book because this part,
what part?
The part in Dorchester, I don't know if I should say that, but I don't know if you did that. You just was it true?
Which part exactly? Because a lot of things that happened. Like,
that the gun, they shoot you.
I didn't get shot.
No. You did not get shot, but. Were you in Dorchester all the time like that?
No, yeah. I mean, in that time period, frequently enough, yes. Like, but I wasn't like a staple. I didn't live in Dorchester. It's like you have a friend after school.
Because from Malden to Dorchester is like 2 trains, right?
No. Not really, no. I mean, depends on how you get there. You could just take the orange line and walk over. Like the orange line and the green lines, and like depends on where you get off. You can like, walk over. It wasn't that, I don't know that I remember how to get there off the top of my head, but yeah, like that portion of it was, again, that goes into the divergence that we had, right? Like me becoming who I was or becoming myself away from you, right? Because there's the part where you get raised and, I was, the person you see in front of you is who I was, like it's who I am. But then there's like you have friends at school, right? You want to fit in. You want, I mean, at that time, like you said, I don't make friends easily. So, you have demons like money, like girls, like so. Okay, if I hang out with this person, I'll be cool. You know what I'm saying? Like if
Because that's the part that I really think that I messed up. Not that I messed up, but I didn't know.
Yeah, you didn't.
I didn't know, and I really thought I knew my kids. I
You didn't
didn't.
know. It's not
I
like
didn't
you
know.
think you
I didn't know. I didn't know you would go to Dorchester without telling me.
No, like Dorchester's a place. It's like what do you? It's.
But it was not a place that we went frequently
Yeah, but like I didn't go there to see people we knew. I went there
to see people you don't know.
I mean, people that I knew that you didn't know. I said we knew, like people I maybe knew, or to do things, but it wasn't. Again,
So when you were writing the book,
Yeah.
what part of the book was really important for you? I know you like all the part, but there's one part that stuck up to you. Like when I was reading the book, I had a part that stuck up to me.
Okay, I'll ask you about those parts, right? The goal for me was to touch on all those topics because like you said, I didn't have to say anything about Dorchester. It wasn't. Yeah, like I could have made do without speaking of Dorchester, but I thought it was important, like that, because you just spoke about that.